Begin dream sequence. Store number 187 night. A white refrigerated 5-ton delivery truck pulls into the parking lot of a 24/7 convenience store. It is shiny and clean with sparkling rims and tires and is driven perfectly as it begins reversing toward the front doors of the store, coming to a stop with precision. The logo on the driver's door of the truck reads, "Milking It, Dairy Distributors." Below, a picture of a cow with a piggy bank style slot on its back.
Do you remember waking up to the sound of clinking glass bottles as the friendly milkman set them down on the front porch?
Theo, male 35 years old, exits the truck. He is dressed in a crisp clean company uniform and hat, his work boots are immaculately clean, and his posture is impeccable as he struts to the back of the truck.
The milkman, though once a respected figure who delivered dairy directly to your home, the white uniform-clad serviceman has since disappeared from daily life.
He presses a switch which folds out the truck's power tailgate. Its motor hums and the sound of metal colliding echoes loudly as the platform folds out with ease. Theo effortlessly jumps onto the tailgate. He presses and holds the switch, raising the platform level with the floor of the massive refrigerated truck. Theo opens up the back door of the truck. It rolls upward with minimal effort and Theo steps inside the brightly illuminated cargo space filled with milk crates stacked neatly in rows on hard plastic pallets strapped to the wall.
The modern-day milkman has taken on a background role, delivering to cold storage rooms at convenience stores in the darkness of night.
Theo places a single milk crate onto a two-wheel dolly and swiftly puts the load onto the tailgate platform. He holds the switch down, descending to ground level. He then rolls the milk crate toward the entrance with one arm and reaches for the door handle with the other. Store number 187 night. Theo enters with the milk crate on a dolly. The store is empty of customers and is pristinely clean with shiny floors. Sam, non-binary, 25 years old, turns their head toward the door, smiling as they gaze upon Theo.
"Hey, milkman. You got a delivery for me?"
Theo smiles back with his teeth immaculately white and sparkling.
I sure do. It's not very big, but I'm always on time.
He tips his hat. Sam transforms into Sheila, female, 69 years old. Her hair is down, flowing over her shoulders. Her makeup is done beautifully. There is a twinkle in her eye beyond her thick bifocal lenses and horn-rimmed frames. A chime rings out as two masked intruders enter the store. Intruder number 1, male, wearing a colorful tracksuit and gorilla mask, is brandishing a banana like it were a pistol.
Everyone just stay cool.
Theo turns his attention to the intruders. Intruder number 2, female, dressed in a red and black plaid onesie wearing a goalkeeper's mask, is brandishing a hockey stick as if it were a rifle. Theo looks back over at Sheila. Sheila holds up a can of pepper spray and aims it directly at Theo's face.
Sorry, Theo, I have to do this.
She presses the trigger, sending a bright mist toward his wide-open eyes. End dream sequence. Theo's apartment bedroom. Theo wakes up in a panic, rubbing his eyes as his cell phone vibrates and a wake-up alarm goes off. The charger has been disconnected from the outlet beside his single mattress, which lays on the floor with no bed frame or box spring. The time on the phone reads 7:11 p.m. Theo rolls over and picks up the phone.
Shit.
He silences the alarm, leaving the charger on the floor as he gets up from his slumber. Theo's apartment, living room, foyer, night. Theo enters the living room, which is furnished with a flat-screen TV mounted to the wall with a gaming system hooked up to it and a single lawn chair with an old wooden coffee table. He grabs his keys and wallet from the coffee table, which is littered with pizza crust, empty beverage containers and an overflowing ashtray. The TV is on. The screen is black and there is a message on the screen asking, "Are you still watching?" Theo grabs the remote and turns off the TV. He throws the remote onto the chair as he walks to the foyer of the not-so-fully furnished bachelor suite. He rushes to put on his beat-up old work boots and exits the apartment. Traffic, night. Theo approaches a red light in his early 2000s model Ford F-150 and comes to a stop. Eddie, male, 75 years old, is standing in the middle traffic island, holding a cardboard sign. His hair is long and gray under a wool beanie and he is dressed in a colorful poncho. Sign.
I don't beg for change, it is inevitable. But I accept free money.
Theo reads Eddie's sign and looks forward, attempting to not make eye contact. Ed shakes his head and walks away. The traffic light turns green. Theo drives off as his exhaust cloud encompasses Eddie. Store number 420, evening. Sandy, female, 27-year-old, walks up to the storefront. She is dressed in all pink with purple shoes with her dyed purple hair tied up into a messy bun. She pulls on the door handle. The door is locked and there is a sign hanging on the other side of the glass. Sign. Be back in 5 minutes. Sandy looks down at her phone. Sly has sent a direct message request. She opens the request and looks at the message that appears on screen. Text.
I'm looking for your boyfriend, Hank. Tell him Sly says what's up.
Sandy looks up from her phone as Marty flips the sign and unlocks the door. Store number 420 evening. Sandy enters the store. Marty walks ahead of her, dropping his lanyard with his safety device and keys. Sandy stops as Marty walks cluelessly to the fact he has dropped his keys. Sandy picks up the lanyard and calls for Marty's attention.
Hey dude. You dropped something?
Huh. Oh. I guess I did. Thanks, darling.
Marty takes the keys from Sandy and walks back behind the counter, sitting in a big rolling office chair. Sandy walks through the aisles perusing the merchandise. She repeatedly looks back over at Marty behind the counter, who is not paying attention. Sandy opens a 10-cent stick of Double Bubble chewing gum, popping it into her mouth as she exits the candy aisle and walks over to the slushy machine. Sandy makes a mixture of pink cream soda and purple grape flavored slush and heads to the counter. Marty is sitting in his chair eating Hawkins cheesies intently and staring off into space.
Excuse me.
Marty gains focus and turns his head toward Sandy. His eyes turn their attention to Sandy's chest. Sandy is noticeably offended as she zips up her jacket all the way up.
Bit nippy in here, Ed.
Marty rings up the slushie.
$2.28, please, my lady.
I wanted a pack of Morleys too.
Oh. Hang on.
Marty looks through the cigarettes for the requested brand. He does not find it.
I'll have to check if we have any more in the back.
Sandy watches as Marty pulls the lanyard off of his neck with his safety button and keys attached to it. He drops the lanyard on the ground and struggles and sweats to bend over to pick it up before unlocking the office located behind the counter. Marty enters the office, leaving his keys and safety button hanging from the door handle. Sandy quickly snatches a purple cigarette lighter and puts it in her pocket. She hears a notification and looks down at her phone to see a text. The text is from her boyfriend Hank. Text.
If someone named Sly tries to message you, tell him you haven't seen me.
Marty comes out of the office as Sandy looks up from her phone.
We're all out of Morleys. They should be in a bit later. Did you want a different brand?
No.
Sandy hands Marty a $5 bill. Marty puts the bill in the register and pulls out the change. He attempts to hand the change to Sandy but drops it, sending coins rolling about the counter and onto the floor. Sandy rolls her eyes. Apartment building hallway. Sandy unlocks the door of her apartment. She turns the door handle and pushes the door. The door is locked with a chain from the inside. Hank peeks through the opening and sees Sandy standing there. She blows a large bubble which makes a loud pop as it bursts.
What the fuck? Hank, open the door.
Hank closes the door to remove the chain. He opens the door to let Sandy in. Sandy's apartment, living room. Sandy enters the apartment. It is decorated with an all pink and purple aesthetic. Everything from the pink sofa to the purple cushions is matching in coordinated color. She takes off her shoes and walks into the living room. Hank is peeking out the window. Sandy unzips her jacket and starts unloading candy from the inside pockets onto the coffee table.
Who the hell is Sly? And why are you hiding out?
I owe him some money. He's threatening me. Look at this message.
Hank opens Messenger and shows Sandy a message next to Sly's profile picture, which is not intimidating in the slightest. Sly is a pale and skinny, thin-mustached 19-year-old wearing a sideways baseball cap, thin gold chain and muscle shirt with a poorly done tattoo of the cool S. Text.
Are you gonna pay me back?
See. He wants payback.
Oh my god. He looks terrifying. What's he gonna do to you? What'll he do to me?
I don't know. Do you have any cash?
Sandy flips out her pockets, revealing a $10 bill and some loose change.
Not much.
I need to come up with a plan. Please, babe. I need your help.
You're pathetic.
Do you have a smoke?
Sandy gets a look on her face as if she has just had an epiphany.
No. But I might have a plan.
Warehouse, night. Theo is at a dock loading a pallet full of milk crates onto a white refrigerated truck. The light in the back of the truck is shorting out and it flickers on and off. Steve, 55 years old, approaches Theo and gives him a pat on the back.
Hee, good morning, Theo.
Morning.
It's our morning, haha. But thanks a heck of a lot for coming in tonight, man. You are saving my butt. I almost had to go out on deliveries tonight. I haven't driven in a truck in years.
I bet you still got it, but don't even worry about it. I need the overtime anyway.
Darren walks up from behind Steve.
He's lying to you, Steve. He knows Sam is working tonight.
Oh, well, I'll let you get going.
Steve walks away.
Man, you just gotta ask her on a date already. People are too into this dating app crap. Just be confident and ask a person to their face. That's how we used to do it.
Because there were no dating apps back in the 1900s. Besides, what if she says no?
Then you quit your job here and never set foot in that store again. I don't know, but that's a nice cologne you're wearing, very subtle. Have a good night.
It's morning.
Darren walks away with a look of confusion upon his face. Store number 420 night. A small car pulls up outside the convenience store. Sam gets out of the passenger seat and walks toward the entrance as the car drives away. Eddie is sitting on the sidewalk outside the store holding a new cardboard sign. Sign.
I don't read sign language. I just write it on cardboard. Almost out of markers. Anything helps.
Sam reaches into their pocket and pulls out some change, handing it to Eddie. Eddie smiles and nods. Store number 420. Night. The door chimes as Sam walks in. Marty sits in a rolling office chair behind the counter. He looks over at the clock which reads 9:11, then looks back over at Sam.
Hello. 911. Sam is late again, and it's literally killing me.
You're hilarious. Your punchlines are terrible, but you. What a joke.
Thanks. I'm here all night.
You're lucky. I need the overtime. I could have stayed home, then you'd actually have to stand up, like a real comedian.
Store number 187 night. Theo drives his dirty refrigerated truck into a gas station parking lot and reverses close to the front doors using the backup camera inside the cab of the truck. He exits the cab and slowly saunters to the back of the truck. There is an antiquated 10-speed bicycle locked up to a bike rack out front with a modern lock. Store number 187. Night. A door alarm chimes as Theo enters the gas station with a hand truck holding 4 crates of milk for delivery. Sheila is working alone at the counter. Her hair is gray and frizzy, tied back into a ponytail, and her horn-rimmed bifocal glasses sit crooked on her nose.
Hello, Sheila.
She waves at Theo and flashes a big smile, revealing her bright red lipstick smeared across her teeth.
Oh, Theo. I'm glad you're delivering tonight. You know, some of the other drivers are in such a rush. When you get to my age, you don't rush, and I used to move pretty quick. I was a bike messenger when I was younger, you know, so I know a thing or two about being in a rush.
Sheila steps out from behind the counter, revealing that she is wearing a pair of bike shorts. Theo looks back behind the counter and sees an aerodynamically shaped bike helmet sitting on a shelf. Theo raises his eyebrows in astonishment.
Wow. You've got a lot of miles on your tires. I'd hate to rush you. Let me just get this into the cooler and then I'll get your autograph.
I got Jimi Hendrix's autograph at Woodstock in 1969. I went with my high school sweetheart, Eddie. That was the last time I ever saw him.
What happened to him?
Jimmy? He died of an overdose in 1970, followed by Janice later that year. I don't know what happened to Eddie.
Theo delivers the milk into the store's cooler and has Sheila sign his paperwork. He pulls his phone from his pocket and looks at it as he exits the store. The battery icon is blinking red. Theo checks his pockets for his charger, realizing he has left it at home. He gets into the truck and drives away to his next delivery. Store number 420 parking lot. Night. A sign is mounted on the storefront. Sign. Deliveries in rear. Theo pulls his truck into the back alley behind a convenience store. He readies his paperwork. There is one line without a signature, which indicates it is his last stop of the night. He then pulls out a pack of mint-flavored chewing gum, popping a stick into his mouth. Theo exits the truck, walking slowly to the back, and folds out the truck's tailgate. It moves very slowly. He climbs up onto the platform and raises it up, then struggles to open the door. He enters the poorly lit cargo space and begins to get his delivery ready. Store number 420. 4 a.m. An older model beat-up car pulls up at the front of the store. Sandy exits the vehicle from the passenger side. Store number 420 continuous. The store doors chime as Sandy enters the store. She is holding a purse wearing a floppy pink hat on her head which hides her purple hair with a blue N95 face mask. She is also wearing a pair of tight purple yoga pants that fit tightly against her thighs and buttocks, accentuating her curves. She walks slowly past Marty in his chair behind the counter. He takes notice of her as she slowly bends over to grab a bag of Hawkins cheesies from the bottom shelf.
Those are the best.
Sandy stays bent over and turns her head back to look at Marty.
Aren't they?
They're my favorite.
Really? Mine too.
Sandy slowly walks toward the counter, not breaking eye contact with Marty, who gets up from his chair moving toward the register.
Let me just ring him up for you, darling.
Marty rings up the Hawkins cheesies totaling $2.19.
$2.19. Cash or card, sweetie?
The door chimes. Hank enters the store. He is wearing a pink baseball cap and blue N95 face mask, and he has a rolled up rope in his hand behind his back. Marty turns his head away from Sandy and looks toward the door at Hank.
Cash, motherfucker.
Sandy reaches into her purse, pulling out a can of pepper spray, unloading it in Marty's face. She grabs the keys and personal safety device which hangs from the lanyard around Marty's neck, rendering him unable to activate the alarm. Marty falls back into his chair and whimpers as he frantically wipes his eyes. Hank jumps over the counter and begins to tie Marty to the chair as Sandy flips the sign on the door that reads, "Be back in 5 minutes." She locks the door and then jumps the counter to help Hank. Store number 420, bathroom. Sam is leaning on the baby changing station with their phone out, watching funny videos on social media with the volume up. Sam hears Marty's muffled voice yell something.
I'm still on break. Dipshit.
Store number 420, back entry cooler. Theo enters the store via the back delivery entrance, rolling a stack of milk crates toward a large white door. He opens the door and enters the cooler room with the load. Theo places the milk against a wall and looks out into the store from behind the glass doors and rows of soft drinks. He does not see anyone at first, but then he hears Marty's muffled cry for help as he sees Hank and Sandy roll a tied-up Marty to the office behind the counter, closing the door behind them. Realizing that a robbery is taking place, Theo freezes.
As occupations go, the life of a modern-day milkman is not normally filled with on-the-job excitement or dramatic scenarios, but every now and then, they encounter spilled milk and must make the choice whether or not to cry over it.
Shit.
Theo panics and reaches into his pocket to look for his phone, which is now dead. He looks out into the store. He can see Sam exiting the washroom, walking toward the office with her head down, still looking at her phone. Hanging on the wall, he sees a long shiny metal bar with a handle on one end and a hook on the other, used to pull milk crates around the cooler. Store number 420, office.
What's the rush, Neil Peart?
Sam notices Hank and Sandy loading bags with cartons of Morley cigarettes.
Get her.
Sam is in shock as Sandy darts toward them, ripping the safety lanyard off Sam's neck and throwing it across the room. The two begin to scuffle over the cell phone. It slips out of Sam's hands and goes flying under a desk. The two scramble and fight each other on top of the desk, which has a landline phone on it. Sam takes the phone off the hook and smashes Sandy across the face with it, sending her flying backward, hitting her head on the wall, falling down at Marty's feet. Hank sees Sandy has fallen and Sam has the landline in hand, getting ready to dial. He gets up with a trash bag full of cigarettes, pulling out a carton and hurling it at Sam, who dodges it and drops the phone. Sandy gets up and rushes toward Sam. Store number 420, aisles. Sam runs, exiting the office out into the store with Sandy right behind. Sandy grabs the back of Sam's shirt and swings them into a shelf full of potato chips in the middle aisle of the store. A stoned group of teenagers observe the action through the storefront window as they wait outside the doors. One of them pulls out a cell phone, but instead of calling the authorities, begins filming the action using the phone's camera. They laugh and cheer on the action as Sam and Sandy continue to scuffle, sending potato chips and candy flying off shelves. Sam struggles to regain footing, running toward the counter, grabbing a jar of salsa from a nearby shelf. Sam turns and sees Sandy rushing toward them. Sam throws the heavy glass salsa jar, hitting Sandy square in the forehead, sending sauce and shards of glass flying in all directions and rendering Sandy immediately unconscious, falling to the floor. Sandy turns around and sees Hank holding 2 garbage bags full of cigarette cartons. Hank stands between Sam and the counter. He looks down at Sandy laying on the floor with her head and face bloodied and covered in salsa. He is visibly angry as he looks back up at Sam. The cooler door flies open. Theo emerges holding the long shiny milk hook in one hand and a 4-liter plastic jug of milk in the other.
No longer a ray of morning sunshine in the hearts of distressed damsels, the milkman must now find it in his own heart to step out of the cold dark shadows of the convenience store cooler. He must brave the bright blinding lights and walk the sticky floors of the romantic marketplace to test his luck in the lottery of love. Will he hit the jackpot? Or will the one he admires call his bluff?
He boldly charges toward Hank with a fire in his eyes. Hank looks over and sees Theo sprinting toward him. Theo strikes Hank across the face with the metal rod, knocking him out cold. Hank falls to the floor, sending his load of Morley cigarettes flying in all directions. Sam runs behind the counter, picking up a landline phone to call the police. The group of stoned teenagers peer into the store in shock with their faces pressed up against the glass.
One of you dipshits could have called the cops.
Sam looks over at Theo.
Theo. Marty's in the back. Can you untie him?
Theo runs to the office where he sees Marty struggling in the chair, red-faced and snotty.
Whoa. Marty. Hold on, I got you, buddy.
Milkman?
To the rescue.
Theo loosens the ropes, then takes the 4-liter milk jug and opens it, slowly pouring the cool white liquid onto Marty's face.
Ooh. What is that?
Good old 2%.
Store number 420, parking lot. Early morning, sunrise. A police car and ambulance drive away from the store as Theo and Sam exit through the front doors. Theo picks up a pack of cigarettes from the floor before stepping outside. He pulls out a cigarette and lights it. He offers one to Sam.
Smoke. I definitely need one after that.
No thanks, I quit, sorta.
Sam pulls out a nicotine vape and takes a long pull, blowing out a thick milky cloud of strawberry-scented vapor.
Hey, I've been meaning to ask.
A small car pulls up outside the store and honks as the passenger window rolls down. Sam's partner waves from the driver's seat. Sam waves back.
Hey babe. You're not gonna fucking believe this shit. Be right there. What's up?
Haha. I've been wanting to ask. If you've ever been robbed.
I have now. See you next time. Milkman.
Sam gets into the car. It drives off into the sunrise as Theo walks to the back of the store to his truck.
The hard-working milkman used to enjoy a thriving social life. Having once inspired his own category of jokes related to mistaken paternity, it now seems the milk has soured in that respect. Today, his eligibility is seemingly bested by pizza delivery guys and pool boys.
Store number 187, early morning. Sheila exits the store in her bike shorts and speedy helmet, walking toward the bike rack to her old 10-speed. Eddie is sitting on the sidewalk beside it. He is holding a cardboard sign.
Love is all you need, but money helps.
Sheila reads Eddie's sign as she unlocks her bike. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out some change, handing it to Eddie.
Ah, the Beatles. What a shame they turned down Woodstock 69. I was there, you know.
Eddie smiles and nods as Sheila pedals off into the morning sunrise with the sound of her squeaky wheels echoing in the air.
I know. Sheila, I know.